Morning everyone, welcome to Nat's Knackers Yard. I'll be Nat and this will be my Knackers Yard. This will be Kermit, the ZX6 that I'm waiting for a new rear caliper because that's shorn yesterday. Kit is running fine and take me to work each day. We're looking at Sting, the CB400. I looked back at some of my old footage yesterday to try and work out what the hell was going on. I don't often watch my old stuff. Old stuff's not that old really. And I spotted something I think that might be the root cause. So it's running okay, it's running revving high, it really struggles to start. There is something going on. I think I know what it is. Regrettably it means I've got to whip this carve out. I say whip because I'm quite good at it by now on this bike. Lots of practice. Right, let's get this out and we'll have a look. Right, so what have you noticed, Nat? Well, I've noticed that, and it is anal detail, but if you look at the springs, this is really hard to do with one hand and a camera, but strong thumbs. Look at the springs on the carb sinks, so the same. That one is different, it's smaller, so at some point I didn't notice when I stripped them and cleaned them. I just put everything back as it was, but I didn't pick up that that spring is fundamentally different. Now this is, as you see me sink it a couple of times, a bastard to sink because these screws you just can't get to. Well, you can, but at such a stupid angle. So the sink screws, so screw in the middle, sinking banks 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Screw there doing 3, 4, that one doing 1, 2. Now I've just pulled this off having synced it twice, or thought I'd synced it twice. Now it's really hard to see there, but if I get some light behind this, and this is heavy to do with one hand, let's swing you up in front of the daylight. So on carbs 1 and 2, quite sealed. Look at that, that's bloody miles away. So I think what I'm going to do is see if I've got a spring that's closer to replace that tiny one, and just bench sink them and just get them close, because there's no way that's going to... It's not surprising it's revving away. Look how much air that's getting through, and it isn't there. It's nuts. Right, let me have a bit of a play and I'll see what I can do. Right, so a bit of tinkering later. I don't have a spring the same, but I've found a stronger one. There we go. But more importantly, those butterflies are now visually synced. So holding it up to the light, nice sunny day by way of a change. Holding it up to the light, giving it a little bit of a tickle, and they are now synced, at least visually synced. What I've also noticed, while we're going into minute detail, I checked my air fuel screws, as you do, and I just thought I'd check against the old ones, and I'm not sure how much you're going to pick up on this because it is super tiny. Let's see if that can help. Oops, knocking stuff over. There we go. That's not a bad shot. Difficult to see on there. That is the new one, and it has a slightly different profile. I hadn't noticed before, but there's a slightly different profile than the original. The original shiny because I've just chucked it through my flywheel. That's not how well it came out of the ultrasonic. I'm going to put the old ones back in. Now they're clean. Right, so that's the youngest dropped off at Drama Club. I've got a cup of tea and the bike's back together. I have put the tank back on. It's not just wishful thinking, actually just doing a secondary tank for this is a pain in the arse. It's almost as easy to put the tank back on. So tank's back on, and let's give it a go. Now, two things. One, I've got dry carbs, so it's not just going to spring immediately to life. It's going to have to fill up its carbs first. Two, I've binned for the moment my my external mic because it just seems really quiet and I can't work it out. I think it's the camera rather than the mic, and I can't change the settings on it. It doesn't let me go into that much detail, so I will keep quiet once we start. Once we start, he says hopefully. A little bit choke, half choke. It's just sucking that fuel through. Yeah, that's choke on. I'll just let it idle for a little while, I think. Let that fuel get circulated. And drink my tea. Now I imagine the idle switch is going to need some adjusting because idle switch, I keep calling it that, the idle screw for the idle speed. I haven't adjusted it. A closer look. That is the neatest this has behaved by a long way. Bit more, I think. I think we might have cracked it. Yeah, I think that might be it. Whew. So way off my mind. I need to rag it around the block to check. The only thing that still concerns me on this is those front brakes are still binding. I'm going to take a, bearing in mind I'm slightly sore on Kermit's brakes. I find that a little frustrating, a little ironic, but I might just go for the mallet option at the moment to just loosen them off with a couple of taps and then just take sting around the block after I've had a sausage sandwich. Right, now I can't deny that it's a fab looking bike, or that it sounds pretty cool too, but all of that is irrelevant if it doesn't go, so let's give it a go. Side stand downhill, it's not particularly safe, but it'll do for now. Right, let's just, what's happened here then? It's just not pinched on. Right, let's get that sorted. Should we try that again? I'm not entirely sure what happened there. I think I couldn't have secured it well enough, but hey, we shall see. Sounded a bit loud. Like a lot bigger bike than a 400. It sounds bloody huge. It sounds as beefy as that as the ZX6. that I've seen online. Right, let's try and give it a bit of a boot in the ass. See how it gets on. Staying on this time. That's nice. Nice of it. This is so comfortable. The jetting's right, I'm getting a nice burble with no backfiring at all, so I'm happy with that. That's annoyed me in the past. It's got a nice pull. Got a lovely pull on it actually. Right, there we go, that's Sting happy. And I think pretty much ready for MOT. Yeah, I think desperately needs a run. Desperately needs a run. Yeah. I've got a few bits and pieces to do. On Sting in terms of tidying up, ready for MOT. Chain needs a bit of lube, bits and pieces like that. But yeah, I think he is pretty much good to go. I could be in a position to MOT Kermit as well next weekend. Really depends whether or not that brake caliper rocks up. But yeah, I think tomorrow I'll go through some pre-MOT checks on Sting just to make sure I'm happy, make sure that fix has held. I say fix, I can't entirely be sure whether or not it was the balancing being quite so far out, probably due to that spring pushing it out, not pushing enough, or whether or not it was the air fuel screws that were just slightly the wrong shape and they weren't doing their task properly. Can't be sure which one it was, but it was either or a combination of the two. But Sting is a lot happier now and riding really, really nicely. Right, that'll do me for a day. Thank you very much all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing for those that have. Cheers all. Catch you later.